Grand Theft Auto's real rival at one point was Saints Row. It started off as a very straightforward story about original gangster on the streets of Stillwater, but it developed into a distinctive collection of open-world games that so many of us enjoy. Because of how ridiculous and self-aware its characters, mechanics, and more managed to be, it went down in history, and now it feels like everything has been abandoned with the poor reboot. Despite what we can only assume to have been a noble intention, Volition has produced exactly what its predecessors aimed to usurp: a shallow, formulaic ripoff of so many other experiences in the genre that doesn't accomplish nearly enough of its own. It's paradoxical and points to a deeper need for games to reflect on their own behavior. Nowadays, the majority of games with an open world do a fantastic job of introducing us to the playground that will serve as our home for the next hours. While Marvel's Spider-Man teaches us the fundamentals of battling crime and swinging around Manhattan before we are truly given a taste of freedom, Horizon Forbidden West emphasizes the significance of hunting robotic dinosaurs and gathering materials to build Aloy's arsenal. Even Cyberpunk 2077, with all its shortcomings, mastered the method of building anticipation before revealing the lavish side of Night City. Pacing is crucial for maintaining a player's attention, and Saints Row illustrates how disastrously it may go wrong. Since the debut of Grand Theft Auto 3, open-world game design has mostly stayed untouched, despite the appearance of subversive classics like Elden Ring. With a few notable exceptions, we have been playing the same games with various skins for some decades now. Milestones like Far Cry 3 would bring notions like towers and extra activities developing towards a primary sensation of growth alongside the main narrative. The first assignment in Saints Row is dull and tedious. IT makes an effort to be fast-paced and amusing, but instead drags on due to unimpressive firefights that rapidly get boring due to repeating attack patterns and a road to success that includes spamming headshots and melee strikes before running away to regain your health. This is a restricted illustration of outdated design that ends with a cry rather than a stunning welcome to the enormous metropolis of Santa Eliso. As we drive home in the middle of the opening credits, listening to our protagonist shout in disgust over the terrible hands they've been dealt, we should be enamored in the aftermath, eager to experience what this game has to offer. This introduction is utterly subpar and forgettable in comparison to Saints Row 2, 3, and 4. Nothing about the barren environment entices the gamers, and when you enter your flat, you realize that the supporting characters is as dead, wandering about aimlessly like robots. Because Saints Row seems to misunderstand not just its own history but the entire foundation of what constitutes an engaging open world, there is little motivation to see more and no desire to go outside of the familiar stomping grounds. Because all of its gameplay features work together to produce a captivating gameplay flow, and the player is continuously rewarded for learning new things and taking on missions off the established road, even predictable games like Ghost of Tsushima are able to keep us captivated. It's time to determine what went wrong, as Saints Row lacks all of that. If anything, the beginning objectives avoid going through the motions and keep a glacially boring pace that never really gets up. They also don't try to promote the better side activities or give a reason to explore the sparse city you live in. Driving to a location, stirring problems, and repeatedly engaging in shootouts are all part of campaign tasks. It lacks the joy and mayhem of its predecessors, which didn't exactly change the rules of open-world gaming but made us care less because of their personalities and sense of humor. While the relaunch falls short of grabbing gamers' interest in the first place, causing problems in a variety of ridiculous circumstances keeps them entertained. There is nothing about gun setting that motivates you to support the goals it pursues, and the narrative is forgettable. Santa Eliso itself does not evoke a sense of identity worth preserving, so there is no desire to learn more about it. The story objectives appear to be the only things in the open world at the moment that are worthwhile. What little liveliness this experience still has is sucked away by dreadfully stiff NPC chats and new side activities that are weaker than what came before. It would be much nicer if they added more to it, but updates that enhance performance and remove bugs won't be sufficient to repair a game that is fundamentally flawed. The relaunch not only finally succumbed to these aspects, it also falls short of the barest minimum that all expected from a series that once aimed to distinguish out in a market flooded with open-world games. Well, that's all for this video. I hope you enjoyed the video. If so, then subscribe to the channel and like the video in order to see more gaming content like this in future.